Danny Cahill won season 8 of The Biggest Loser TV show, losing 239 pounds in 7 months. And in fact, when he got on the scale at the end, he only weighed 191 pounds, which was down from 430 pounds. And he famously said, "I've got my life back. I feel like $1,000,000. Unfortunately, in the years since then, he's since gained over 100 of those pounds back, and many of the contestants are not only as big as they were before the show, they're even bigger. Now, Kevin Hall, a researcher that decided to research some of these people in reality TV shows, decided to study some of the Biggest Loser contestants after the show, and what he found was very interesting. So the first thing he found was very interesting. He found that, interestingly enough, after the show, after participants were no longer doing that ridiculous 7 hours a day of exercise that not even an Olympian could keep up with, he found that as the weight kept coming on, their metabolism actually did not recover. So it was no longer as efficient at burning calories as it was before. And as he said in a direct quote, Mr. Cahill was one of the worst. As he regained more than 100 pounds, his metabolism slowed so much that, just to maintain his current weight of 295 pounds, he now has to eat 800 calories a day less than a typical man his size because everything else turns to fat. So check this out, what the New York Times put together a little bit. They found that 13 of the 14 contestants studied regained weight in the 6 years after the competition, and 4 of them are heavier than they were ever before. For example, Erin Egbert, who is the only contestant who weighs less today than she was 6 years ago. I don't know if that is in all of the Biggest Loser contestants or just this cohort. This guy, Rudy Pauls, regained 80% of his weight and then had surgery to reduce the size of his stomach. Danny Cahill lost 239 pounds, but has regained over 100. And obviously on the right there, that is 6 years later. Then you've got, for example, Erin Egbert. Look at the numbers here. Nearly all the contestants have slower metabolisms today than they did 6 years ago. And in fact, their body is less efficient at burning the calories than it should be mathematically. So look at Erin here. Her body burns almost 600 less calories than it should per day. Rudy Pauls is almost in the same area. Danny Cahill is down in the 800s. So he has to eat 800 calories less than the average person his weight just to maintain. And this is all 6 years later. So one thing we now know from research, and I'm actually going to cover this soon in the next week, is that a lot of the time from fad and crash dieting, the body doesn't fully recover quickly. And in fact, in the study I'm going to talk about next, in a year after a fad or crash diet, a very low calorie diet, they found that the levels of hunger hormones, ghrelin for example, had not returned to a normal, healthy level. So for example, the researchers found that a year later, these participants had dramatically lower levels of leptin, which is an important hunger signaling hormone. So the lower the levels, they weren't basically signaling the level of satiety when a person was eating or not. Now that's very interesting and all, but what really struck me was this moron of a researcher who concluded the following. What was surprising was what a coordinated effect it is, Dr. Proieto said. The body puts multiple mechanisms in place to get you back to your weight. The only way to maintain weight loss is to be hungry all the time. We desperately need agents, aka chemicals or drugs, that will suppress hunger and that are safe with long-term use. Please, here's your tiny habit for today, okay? Boom, tiny habit. Please do not fall for this shit. What a moron. This person with a PhD is saying the only way to sustainably lose weight is to constantly be hungry. Well, how well do you think that's going to work for people? Please do not buy into, as best you can, avoid these rapid weight loss fads. So seriously, your habit for today, your tiny habit, is to turn off this bullshit reality TV. Anything that just fills your mind with that kind of image of the detox teas, of the super low calorie diets, of the double workouts with 500 less calories a day, with some tea that makes you poo 48 times a day. I've seen it. This is the season, the time of the year. It is May, June, July, August. Everyone's going to be going to the beach, and I see it everywhere. The people cranking up things, cranking down the food, adding supplements, adding all this craziness for the shortcut. And then guess what? When September rolls around, they're exactly where they were before, gaining weight every month, slowly but surely getting more unhappy, having less energy, and then repeating the same friggin' cycle when May, June, and July roll around. And this is effectively crash dieting that wrecks the metabolism and alters your hormones in the long run. So your tiny habit this is what fad and crash dieting does to you. It not only messes you up in the short run, it affects you in the long run. And honestly, some of the research suggests we don't even know how long that long run may be. The one I told you, the one I'm going to be talking about next, suggests that a year from now, some of their hormonal levels have not returned to the same level they were before, signaling appetite and hunger and fullness. That's a long time. Who knows if someone's been doing this for 20 years, what that really looks like. So please, for God's sake, do not buy into this shite. It makes me so angry, and it makes me even more pissed off that someone with a PhD would really, honestly, ethically be able to sleep at night, suggesting that's the only way to lose weight. It truly, truly blows my mind that this person got a PhD. Now, that is my rant over for the day on The Biggest Loser. Click the little monk dude right there to subscribe. Like the video so you get the next one when it's out. Leave a comment below because I actually want to hear your thoughts on this because I'm obviously fired up. I want to hear what you're thinking. I've linked to the original article there as well. Visit me over at modernhealthmonk.com and check out my book on Amazon. It's called Master the Day. And I really genuinely want to hear your thoughts. So comment below and I'll catch you next time.